Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Kyya, and today we're back at it with another video, and it's not really the best topic to cover in all honesty, but it's something I definitely want to just talk about considering I do have a younger audience. Today we're really just going to be discussing prank channels and the influence that they actually have on people, and the unfortunate death that it has caused. Anyway, everyone here knows about prank channels. It all started with FouseyTube, just doing those Mortal Kombat cosplays and shit inside the elevator. And, back then those were kind of cool, I guess, when you were like fucking 12. And then eventually it just got worse and worse and worse, and it continues to do so to this day. Prank channels are the scum of the internet. They have an absurdly large audience, and especially a large viewership of children, and I think that also needs to be addressed as well. Because as a kid, you look up to these guys like, wow, that looks so funny, oh my god, it's so cool, imagine if I did that, this and that and the third, and eventually you could grow up to do it. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be known as that asshole that just messes with people throughout their days while they're just going about their daily miserable lives. I know for a simple fact that if some dude came up to me in the park and started karate kicking me and screaming in my ear, I'd probably have to whoop his ass, not gonna lie. Now see, I'm not an easy person to get mad, I'm actually quite easygoing, but the one thing I will say is if I'm in the wrong situation and it's the wrong day and I'm already just a little bit annoyed, there's a good chance, I don't know, if you do some stupid ass prank at me, I'm gonna have to whoop your ass. It's just how it is. And the one worst thing about YouTube pranks is that they're all fucking fake. At least 97% of all YouTube pranksters on YouTube are all fakes. All of it is phony, they're just paid actors. And I need you guys to understand that. And I'm well sure that majority of you do, but the one person in here that's like, whoa, no way, are you serious? Like, I'm glad that you know now. Believe it or not, there's not a lot of YouTubers out there anymore that really have the balls of steel to go fuck with people in their natural habitat in public. It just doesn't happen anymore. And nowadays, even back then, when they used to do pranks, majority of them were fake, and they were usually pretty simple pranks if they were real. Now, like I said, if you want to be the degenerate lowlife that fucks with people during their normal days, go ahead. Do so at your own expense. Actually, no, don't do it at all. How about that? The worst content on YouTube comes from YouTube pranksters. There's truly nothing more boring and unentertaining than the YouTube pranks. And as per usual, the people behind those YouTube pranks are just terrible people. They sit down, they fuck with people, and then go, it's just a prank, bro, so they don't get mad. Like, it just doesn't fly. It's not realistic. Maybe like 1 of 20 people would laugh. Maybe about 3 of the 20 would probably let the shit slide. But I promise you, if those pranks were real, the rage behind some of these people would be immeasurable. And like I said before, a lot of people understand that these pranks are fake. But a lot of children don't understand that either. Today I'm going to inform you about a person named Timothy Wilks. Timothy Wilks was a 20-year-old kid from Tennessee, and he grew up watching YouTube pranksters, and he wanted to be just like them. But he unfortunately never grasped the concept that they're fake, and he was never really in on the joke, I guess, He didn't know the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. He thought all the pranks he was seeing were real. This guy had a dream, and he strove to accomplish it. He wanted to be a YouTube prankster. He wanted to be up there with the big boys. He finally decided to make his own YouTube channel and do some of his own pranks. Well, he had an idea for one prank, and that idea was to charge a family with a mask and butcher knives. Well, when he decided to pull this prank off a few days ago, he was fatally shot and killed. And this all really happened because he was ill-informed that YouTube pranks were all fake. Now, do I truly know this information for myself? No, but I can only imagine that when you do something this psychotic, you probably don't understand that. And maybe so he decided he wanted to be the only real YouTube prankster, you never know. But either way, he made the grave mistake and paid for it with his life. And what's slightly interesting about this entire thing is that he was doing a pretty basic prank, a very common one. And the prank was the robbery prank. Now, the robbery prank is probably the most common one, honestly, on YouTube that you can find, where they just stage a robbery as a prank. They'll charge people with knives, unloaded weapons, and other little gadgets and chainsaws and shit like that. Steal the purse, shake it down, take your wallet, throw it on the ground, stomp on it, maybe take a piss on it, Then at the end, they're like, oh, it's just a prank, bro, you're not getting robbed. And then the people would just respond like, oh, haha, oh, you got me, I've been pranked. Unfortunately enough, in Timothy's case, these were not paid actors. These were real citizens. Throughout all the commotion and these ill-informed people, Timothy was shot by the father out of self-defense. Now, if you probably haven't thought of this yet, this was a YouTube video that he was recording. So that means out there somewhere is the footage of Timothy being shot, bleeding out and dying, speaking on his last breath. Now, a lot of people don't know where the footage is, but supposedly there are some audio recordings going around. And for the people that have heard it, they say it's horrifying. You can hear the man after he got shot just crying and holding himself as he's bleeding out, saying it's just a prank, bro, sobbing. And more than likely some of his final words of his life were, "It's just a prank, bro." Now, a lot of people are going to sit down and laugh and maybe call him a fool and things like that, but in my opinion, I'd say he's just misguided and completely ill-informed. Now, this was 100% preventable. Him and his buddy could have definitely prevented this from happening, and Timothy would still be alive to this day. I want you guys to take that into consideration, how young he was before he was fatally shot. I would also like you guys to understand that the person that shot him is feeling horrible right now. Imagine how that man feels after taking someone's life over just a prank, because he was completely ill-informed by it and decided to defend his family, the people he loves and mean to him the most. So what was an apparent and real threat in the moment, but in fact really was nothing. That gentleman has to live with that the rest of his life. And now that man has to find a way to live with himself every day knowing that he had done that. It's a terrible situation to be in. And I'm sure it eats at him every single day since that very moment. And it will continue to do so if he ever decides to learn to live with it. And a lot of people don't. Now, I don't mean this by any shameless plug, but I would prefer if you guys shared this video around to make awareness. Moist Critical already done so, but there's a good chance that a lot of people haven't seen this as well. Show your brothers and sisters and the rest of your family members, even friends like I said before, to make sure they don't end up in a situation like this one that will leave them, unfortunately, no longer with us. Anyway, guys, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later. Stay safe. Goodbye. May Timothy rest in peace.